Welcome to There is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell. I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's fitness programs, and I've been in business since 1994. The purpose of this podcast is to give you the real deal of what really works, and most importantly, why things work. Hence the name, There's a Method to the Madness. Today I'm going to pick up on part 2 of the principles of physical training, and we are going to talk about specificity. Before I get to that, I want to thank Jonathan and Lynn Gilden of the Gilden Group at Realty Pros. If you want to know what your home can sell for, give them a shout at 386-451-2412 because they are in the business to help you sell your house. And you know what? They really are the best. So give them a shout. All right, so let's talk a little bit about specificity. I talked the other day that there are 7 principles to physical fitness, and they all matter. I'm not really doing them in order of importance. I'm doing them more in order of what is coming to mind a little bit more. As I said the other day, it's really hard to top progressive overload as the most important one, but all of these principles matter. And if you know anything about principles, it means that they're tried and true. They're not fads and trends which don't last. They're principles. There are certain principles that just work. So specificity is one of them. And in short, what it means is that if you want a specific outcome, you have to go for it specifically. So that on the surface seems like a bit of common sense, but not really. So let me give you like the opposite of that, which is generality. And I'm sure at one time that was a pretty common belief in the physical training world. You know, people thought, well, if they're just in good cardiovascular shape, if they just have a good aerobic system, then they can do anything aerobically pretty well. And that is simply not true. There are certain things inherent about a good aerobic system, such as a good VO2 max and things that are within the individual's cardiac output and all that. But it does not mean that just because you are a good runner, you will be a good cyclist. Or if you're a good swimmer, you will be a good runner. Or if you take it into the gym, if you have large muscles, that you'll always be the best power lifter. Or if you're a great power lifter, you have the potential to be a bodybuilder. So no, generality has some truth behind it. As I said, a good VO2 max will help somebody out no matter what aerobic exercise they choose to do. But unless they do that specific aerobic exercise, they or you will not improve or get better at it. And that's really important to understand. I want you to think about your goals and get specific. What is it that you're really looking for? Because once you do that, then you will know a specific course of action to take. Or I should say, there is a specific course of action to take out there that you could get help, such as us or other accredited trainers, real strength conditioning coaches, to help you figure out where you want to go with that. There is another principle that's kind of like the broad principle for this, and it's called the SEDS principle, SAIDS. And what that stands for is specific adaptations to imposed demands. So that means the body will adapt to what you are pushing it to do. And that's good news. It will adapt. And again, you have to get very specific as to what you want the body to adapt for. Because if you go kind of like the wrong way, you start doing something generally that you think is going to help you specifically, not only will it not help you get there, but it might even take you further away. For example, if you are planning on doing a 5K, a 5-kilometer running race or walking race, and you want to be your best, and you think the way to do that is to get on your bicycle and ride a bunch of miles because you're going to improve your cardiovascular system, well, not only is that not going to help you, I mean, it's going to help you in life. Don't get me wrong, all of these things that we do improve our overall health and our overall fitness, but it's not going to help you improve to get to that goal. So it's not only not going to help you, it could hinder you a little bit because you could be developing different muscles that actually counter the muscles of running. Now that one's probably kind of obvious, but here's another one that's less obvious. Let's take the 5K again. So the 5-kilometer road race is the most common road race in the United States, and I would guess the world. A lot of people can do it. People can do it if they want a challenge and they're not sure quite 100% if they can do it. So it's attractive to those people, and it's attractive to people that really want to improve their aerobic system because it's hard. It's really, really hard. And if you are running for over 10 minutes or so, hard pace-wise, it's going to improve your fitness. So it's good for the people that are really, really super fit as well. So it's kind of good for everybody. Plus, because it's not overly high volume, you don't have to run a ton of miles in preparation for it. It's a lot more forgiving on the body because the body tends to break down more when we start doing a lot of tired miles, which could come from running too much or running too hard and too much at the same time. All right, but I digress. So if you think that to improve for the 5K, which would take anywhere, let's say like world record times in the 12 minutes, which is absolutely insane, up to 45 minutes or 50 minutes or even an hour if you're walking it. And if you think that the way you're going to improve is to do miles after miles after miles after miles of training, well, you're wrong there too, because specificity states that the way you should train should be closely or closer matched to the actual event that you're going to do. So if you're out doing these 10-mile long, slow distance runs, again, that's great if you like it, and it's great for your overall fitness and health. It could be anyway if you're not beating your body down, but it's not really mimicking the system that is the 5K. And the system that is the 5K, if you're running it as hard as you can, is more anaerobic, not more anaerobic than aerobic, but more anaerobic than you're going to run in that long event or long training session that you did on the weekend. So a 5K is going to be more, depending on your fitness level, but in the category of, say, 80% aerobic, 20% anaerobic. So there's a lot of aerobic in the 5K. Of course, people call it a sprint. It's not a sprint. A sprint takes you 10 to 20 seconds. It's still very aerobic, but it also gets into the anaerobic system, something called anaerobic glycolysis once you begin to push. If you're on a longer run, you're really not going to get anaerobic at all. If you do, you're going to be in trouble in a very short period of time, and you're going to get hurt. That is, if you continue to do it, because you're really pushing a system that's supposed to be meant you're supposed to be doing at a long, slow distance pace, and you're pushing it too hard. The muscles are going to be tired, and you're probably going to get overuse injuries. Again, I digress. So the point is that if you really want to improve in the 5K, specificity says that you need to train more in that time frame of the 5K. You need to train at the intensity of that 5K, and then you will be better suited to prepare for the 5K. But see, principles don't tell us exactly how to do it. And I don't even really like to tell people exactly how to do it because there isn't an exactly how to do it for each individual. Like I just can't generalize and say this is the way to do it because there isn't. I mean, you just have to understand those principles and find what works for you. But you do know that you have to spend time training at the duration and the intensity that's going to match the event or whatever that you are going to do. Now, some people will split it up and do intervals at a hard pace that matches or supersedes their 5K, and they will do that maybe for throughout the duration of the training that they're doing that day, maybe 30 minutes. They may not go race pace the whole way because that could beat them up a little bit. But again, there is no specific way that works for everybody. It's highly individual, but we need to understand the principles and go, okay, so Rob was telling me about specificity. So what that means is that if I'm training for the 5K, it doesn't do me a lot of good to run a ton of miles and long miles to do that. And it doesn't do me a lot of good to only do aerobic training, which we should always do, yes. So I need to figure out a way how to train closer to the intensity and the duration. That's exactly right, okay? So that is a cardiovascular example of specificity. And I think you got it, that you have to do the actual sport that you're going to do. So if you wanted to do a triathlon, you will have to swim, bike, and run, and you will have to think about the durations at which you're going to race at and the intensities at which you're going to race at and try to match that somehow, some way with appropriate training. Now in the gym, some people want to get bigger, more muscular. That's hypertrophy. Some people want to get stronger. Some people want both. Some people want endurance. Well, there is some generalities, yes, but again, you have to get specific to what you really, really want. Because if you want to get stronger, like your only goal is to get stronger, you don't necessarily have to go to failure all the time to the point where you can't move the load anymore. Because if you just follow overload, you're going to get stronger. Remember SEDS, specific adaptations to impose demands. So if you specifically impose a demand on the muscle more than you have before, for example, if you want to get stronger on the chest press machine and you did 5 reps last time at 100 pounds, and the next time you come in, if you put on 105 pounds and try to match the reps, you're going to get stronger over time. And that's with or without failure. So you have to understand, if you want to get stronger, it is 100% about applying more load over time that your body will adapt to. If you push too much, it will over-adapt, which means potential injury. If you want larger muscles, overload is important too, but what's more important is hitting failure. The slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers have to be taken very close to muscular failure if you want the morphological adaptations to occur, which means if you want to get bigger, you not only have to stress the skeletal system, the muscular system, but you also have to stress the endocrine system, which means that you have to get the failure and get enough human growth hormone and testosterone flooding the bloodstreams once you've really, really pushed into anaerobic metabolism to help those muscles grow and repair. Now, yes, there is crossover with both. Somebody training to get bigger is going to get stronger. I mean, it just goes with it. Most of the time we have to apply more overload to get the failure, so that means you're going to get stronger. But the amount of weight you pick when your only goal is hypertrophy is less important than it is if you want to get stronger. So again, it's specificity. What do you really want? Again, it's great to go to the gym. You are going to get stronger, bigger, all these great things and all of the mental greatness that happens when you work out. Yes, don't get me wrong. I don't want to get you so confused you don't go to the gym. What I'm saying is there are specific programs for specific things that you want, or you should Follow specific ways of training. Endurance is the third adaptation that you can use in the gym. So endurance means that you can do something more and more versus what you used to be able to do before. So for example, if you want to be able to do 15 pull-ups and you can do 5, well, that's working on muscular endurance. Each time you're doing more of the same weight, that's muscular endurance. So to do that, you're gonna have to practice pull-ups, like training heavy pull downs and training heavy rows. I mean, sure, all of that might help your pull-up, but you know what'll help your pull-up? Doing your pull-ups. If you want to do more, every time you go to the gym, try to do another repetition. Train specifically for it. That's how you're going to improve your endurance. Same with push-ups, same with bodyweight squats, same with how long you can hold a plank, same with how many crunches or sit-ups you can do. So within the exercise realm of strength training and aerobic training, the principle of specificity is there. Hopefully you can now see that. Think about your goals. Just think about them, what you really, really, really want. And if what I'm saying here doesn't become completely clear to you as far as what you need to do next, ask us. I mean, the people we train, we know that. Like, we know who wants good general strength, meaning they want to get stronger and they want to add a little bit of lean tissue because that is going to improve their ADLs. I mean, that's what most people want, is the combination of that. They also want the combination with aerobic training of improving their VO2 max. They don't care as much about performance because they're doing it for their health, which is great. So they can do a lot of different tools to do that. They can do a bike once a week. They can do the treadmill and walk once a week. They can do outdoor jogging or walking once a week. They can get on the ergometer or rowing machine. They could swim. So like, they have a lot of options, and that's great. This is really, I'm talking to the people who have a very, very, very specific goal. And if you have a specific goal, you're going to have to figure out the specific way to train for it if you really want to be your best at it. And we are very fortunate to have one of the principles that helps us cover that for you, the principle of specificity. And if you really, really want the best garage door in the area, well, you're going to have to call Overhead Door of Daytona Beach, because they have the best customer service, they have the best product, and I personally vouch for Jeff and Zach Hawk. Please reach out to them at overheaddoordaytona.com. We have 5 principles left, ladies and gentlemen.